Well, it is News Extra time, and Kevin Mooney with our show again this morning. Kev.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. This should be a good show because we have Ruth Kozal here. She is the new Scottsbluff School Board President. We also have Superintendent Rick Myles here, and we're going to just talk about things that are going on with the Scottsbluff School District. First of all, Ruth, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, so does it feel any different being the board president?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really.
Not really? You just get to do things like come on this show, right?
I do. I get those privileges and fringe bennies that come with that.
All right. So as you look at the school district and you look at the future, I guess the high school expansion and so forth and career academies is probably the big thing on your guys' agenda right now?
That, because that's what's in the public eye right now. That's the first thing that people will mostly ask you about. And we have our weekly meetings, some quarterly meetings. It's just because we passed the bond didn't mean that we take a break. It just keep going.
Yeah. And, of course, in the next spring and summer, I guess the things you guys are going to work on is infrastructure, and that's
right.
That's a big problem at that school, isn't it?
It is. And so this spring you will see some construction in regards to parking lot, sewer, the very unexciting things, but things that have to get done.
Yeah. And you guys excited about the Career Academy concept and working on that?
Absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah. What do you think that brings to the school district that we haven't had before?
First of all, renewed interest in learning, I think, is a big thing, but also community involvement and interest in what's going on there, too. It's going to open up doors. Continuing doors will be open for college-bound kids, but also careers within the community.
Yeah. One of the other things you guys are working on is your strategic plan, and I know that sounds like a yawner to some people, but explain why a strategic plan is so important.
Well, so we set our goals and have goals to achieve, and then results. How are we going to get there? And because of the bond issue passing, this is I always call it a continuing strategic plan because it doesn't change. We don't rewrite the book every year by any means. We see where we are and what we have to do and go after our goals. And because of the bond issue passing, we've added in some new things such as making sure that we have transparency with the bond issue, and that we have our couple of oversight committees, one involving the bond, one involving the finance, so that people know we're going to do what we said we're going to do.
All right. And some of the other things maybe you guys are looking at that strategic plan, is there anything else that sets out?
There's always something going on. We want to increase our graduation rate. Of course, the career academies themselves are restructuring the facility, and just because we focus on the high school facility doesn't mean that we ignore the other buildings. We've had assessments done on the other buildings, so we have to start thinking about what we need to do there as well, reducing the dropout rate, expansion of early childhood development programs there as well.
All right. We're going to get Rick in here. We'll take a break and have him talk about some of those things that Ruth just mentioned right after this.
Is your wireless computer network secure? With their years of professional service, you can trust Intralink's technical solutions to keep your small or medium business computer system up and running. Not having a secure wireless network can put your computers at risk. Call Intralinks at 632-6590 to have one of their highly experienced techs set up, troubleshoot, and secure your wireless network. For weekly tips and information, friend Intralinks on Facebook at intralinks.net/Facebook.
All right, we're back on News Extra today. We're talking about all things Scottsbluff schools today with new school board president Ruth Kozal and also Superintendent Rick Myles. And you've heard from Ruth here in the break, right before the break. We're going to talk to Rick now. When you look at where we're at right now with the school, these are pretty exciting times, aren't they?
It really is. And I think it really is just one example of how critical it is that the school district and the community be aligned, because I think you see a lot of things happening in the community with economic expansion and revitalization, lots of energy, lots of optimism, and I think we're just right there as a school district too.
Yeah, I think so too. She mentioned early childhood expansion, and we were talking about that ahead of coming in. That's something that you guys really are working on hard, aren't you?
Well, we are just focused on ensuring that we make a difference and that kids graduate with choices, and they're going to have successful lives. And one of the best ways that we can do that is by making sure that we work with kids when they're very, very young, that they're prepared for school. Too many teachers say, when they look at a kid that dropped out or didn't graduate, I could have told you that when they were in first grade.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because some of the patterns that we see with kids when they're very, very young continue, they get behind, and then they get to be teenagers in high school, and there's those academic gaps that just don't go away. So we're really focusing on birth to 5. Now, as an adult, you look at 10, 12, 15 years, and it doesn't seem like all that long a time. When you're a kid, of course, it seems like forever, or a young parent. But what we realize is what we do with a child when they're 3 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old, makes a tremendous difference when they're adults. And we also know the impact that those kids will have then when they have children themselves. So we're doing some great things, I think, with early childhood. One thing I'd just like to mention is the Sixpence program, and that's kids birth to 3. Senator Harms actually was very helpful in ensuring that we got that program. We're expanding that, and kids are with us 2 years at least, and we work with families very closely. That staff does a great job. And then preschool, we're expanding preschool again next year. At least that's our plan. We've now moved into full-day kindergarten or full-day preschool. We've moved into 3-year-old preschool. We've got a learning curriculum in place for kids so they really grow but have fun all at the same time. We've worked on everything from the playground to the instructional materials, and we're real pleased with what's happening with early childhood, and we're going to continue to focus on that.
All right, we're running out of time here, but wanted to mention real quick your Reconnect program, which is about people that have dropped out, and maybe they're even past the 18-year-old thing. They're maybe 19, 20, and I'll go, I still would like to get that high school degree. You're going to be having the 50th kid from that program graduate?
That's right. The 50th student will graduate, and the program is barely 18 months old. We'd like to be able to say in the future at some point that program's no longer necessary. We'd like to have to go out of business, but as things sit right now, there's lots of those young adults of that age that dropped out, never got through. We have some of our own students currently in school that really have detached from school, and we've got to give them some hope and some confidence as they look ahead. And Mario Chavez, who is our director of that program and of student outreach, and his staff have done a phenomenal job. There's just great stories, very tear-jerking, emotional stories sometimes of kids finally getting something that they thought they would never be able to achieve.
Okay. All right, you guys, very good. Like I said, we could talk about the school stuff. I could for about a half an hour, but
Easily.
We only have 7 minutes. So thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.